up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. Afloat, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
I don't have the energy for you today.
Never thought of energy as something you lacked.
You love that one, don't you?
I love it. It's
Really?
it just explains so much about our relationship. I just like I have the energy for you today, just for that day. For that day, I walk out and know I said she's waiting around the corner. She's got a list of things she wants you to do. I don't have time today. Not today.
But you
no.
have all the time. Like, you're just literally mad that I
Yes.
interrupted your nothing.
Yes. You interrupted my nothing. Well, guys, welcome to episode 15 of Ordinary Gains. I am E.G.O, the man that had nothing to do. And sure, I want to make sure I have all the energy to do everything that she needs me to do. I love you. Let me kiss. Welcome to another episode of Ordinary Gains. Sorry we didn't have a live stream for you guys last week. Shira was actually, tryouts?
Volleyball tryouts, yeah.
Volleyball tryouts for her kids, and then also studying for CPA exam.
Yes, that has been literally most of my days.
Yes. And along with starting a new diet, which has been, it's been great for me.
It's been quite terrible for all involved.
Why has it been terrible, honey, for you?
Because I feel like a terrible person. I feel like I'm a really big asshole right now. And you're getting the brunt of it. So, yeah.
To be fair, what happened was we switched from carnivore diet, which is only protein, that we've been doing for, 2.5 months?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to knock it. I felt mentally clear. I felt energetic. All that stuff. I wasn't losing weight like I need to. So
Exactly. So we switched from that to, I would like to almost call it a nibbler's diet, where every 2 or 3 hours just nibbling on something. It's great for me. It's awesome for me. I like I love snacks. I love snacking. So if you're telling me I can eat every 2 hours and I can have protein shake and an apple, then 2 hours later a protein bar. 2 hours after that I can have a banana and like some hamburger. I'm fine, especially if you want to throw vegetables in there as well. However, some people did not do all that well with that kind of adjustment. So it's flipped. I was annoying Minority for 2 months while she was doing great. Now I'm doing great and she's still working through it. So
we might just have to divide and conquer. Part of me says, like, do high protein, low fat meats with like the fruits. I don't eat a whole lot of vegetables. They make me gag. And that way both of us can sustain
what we need.
Life.
Possibly. If someone murders the other one y'all find out about it, y'all just blame the diet. Be like, yep, they said it was a problem with the diet. So either the nibbler diet or the carnivore kills somebody. But before we go any further, we'll go ahead and address the chat. We got 6 y'all already. Thank you guys for joining us. White Bear says, I can't jump on and give you an easy example, but I'll be listening. Thank you, sir. If you want to drop it in the comments after the stream, we'd welcome hearing that as well. Excuse me, we got Johnny Douglas. So who else survived the 5th Twitter's Doom Apocalypse we've had so far? Yeah, it was weird. There was a limiting thing of how many tweets you could view or tweet out. What? It was a big thing yesterday.
Was that just like a technical error? Somebody put in code and then it adjusted something?
Elon Musk said it was something about trying to rate limit tweets for some kind of manipulation.
Oh, so they were trying to combat bots.
I guess, yeah.
But inadvertently combated regular people.
Yeah, so basically you can see...
Technology, writing code, that's what happens.
She's a nerd, y'all. She writes codes and stuff. It's all nerd talk to me. Anyway.
Well, you think you're, like, all the tests if they test, which I'm assuming most places have a testing environment, like, they're testing, but a lot of times it's not live data. It's sort of like this copy of the production environment. Okay. And then, so you think that you've got, like, okay, my test all worked out great, I'm fine. Then you put in production and
it doesn't work out.
Stuff like that, yeah.
So, okay. So basically they were saying if you're verified, you can see and tweet more. Unverified, see and tweet less, so on and so forth. For anyone that's got Twitter Blue, let us know how that's been for y'all, if it's been worth the $8 or not. I'm not sure. That's all. 2 favorite crews. Twitter's not. Yeah, it was weird. It was a really weird weekend of that. Thank y'all, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes,
that'd be cool.
So much fun.
We'll take it. Hey, Jacob Ironside, thank you for joining us. Nosferatu. If a kid beats me at volleyball, I immediately square up on them and threaten to beat up their dad.
I mean, I'm same.
She would do that. I'm not gonna blame y'all at all. White Bear, I've always had a good luck eating the crap out of higher protein and ton of fat. Sadly, beer helps nothing. Best diet is the South Bronx parasite. I'm gonna look that up.
Oh my gosh, that sounds detrimental.
Yeah, Vex. Food is how I know so subtly plan on eliminating my husband.
I mean, same. Look, I feed Larry, so if he ever messes up, he better be so scared to eat from me. He either getting a stomach bug or something. It's going down for real.
Why is my broccoli so crunchy? It's got glass in it.
No. It's got to be untraceable, honey.
I see you thought this out.
Oh yeah, me and my best friend and her mom, we talk about this often.
Okay, that actually
The
brings us.
tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it. You.
All right, so the Shiro's birthday is coming up in
Oh, really? Okay.
3 weeks now. Exactly 3 weeks to the day.
Yeah.
And so she's been planning her birthday in her head for at least 4 months.
What do you mean in my head?
Like,
honey?
you had all these things you wanted to do, but when it came to telling me,
Yeah, but I
months.
finally made like an absolute decision,
I
and
know.
then you decided that you're not going to participate.
and
in the
there
conversation.
lies my airing of grievances. She said she tells me on like a Monday what she wants to do, and 2 weeks go by, and by this time that 2 weeks later on another Monday, she sent out an invitation with my phone number to everyone that I was at our wedding to invite to her birthday party. And I'm like, oh, you did that? She's like, yeah, well, somebody's got to do it because you're not talking to my friends to schedule my birthday party.
That's
so-
how it sounded.
Meanwhile, I've been trying for weeks to talk to a company because we both love wine. And there was a company that says, hey, we'll let you make your own wine. So I'm like, I need to talk to these people because it would be very fun and romantic because she hasn't had date night and it's for her birthday. So for these 2 weeks of me planning it, I'm hearing mad shit talking. Just, you haven't done this. And I just said that we were going to do this. And have you talked to my friends yet? Oh my goodness. I can't believe you're not going to be doing anything for just my birthday. Oh my goodness. So meanwhile, I'm just like,
No, I was just asking you to participate in the conversation because they
Wasn't
were
asking.
asking for feedback on the things that we were planning, and you weren't.
there hadn't been
Responding.
there was no text message group.
There
I-
was.
Which
There's
one?
clearly a text
I don't
message.
see it.
group. It's me, you, and the two ladies.
You sent one text.
No, Alexis has sent text. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was suggesting where you want to go, and I said that you were like, no, I don't want to go there. So I was like, well, okay. I mean, so A-Rod, she said no. She's like, all right, cool. So then I was like, well, the one thing I know that might work is let's schedule this. So I had to do 2 weeks of just shit talking. Just, I was talking to my friends about my birthday party that you're not helping plan. So I'm like, in my mind, you know what? I'm shutting this shit down. I cancel the whole party. Ain't gonna be a party. I'm gonna send a separate text to say, hey, no party, all right? She talk too much shit, okay? Put my foot down as a man of this house. Anyway.
Priest told her. I am priest told her.
Priest told her, yes. So anyway, I actually set it up. I talked to the owner. I'm like, yo, can we do this? We set that up. She's like, sure, fine. That's fantastic. Come in on a Wednesday. So on a Wednesday, I take her out to this. Actually, it's a little. I don't know how you would describe it. It looks like kind of like a general, like a wine bar. Right?
It's a wine bar in like a shopping
Strip mall.
center, strip mall. Yeah.
Right. However, this place, we go in there and they're like, well, hey, apparently she winds up knowing the owner because it was her high school volleyball coach.
Yep.
Go figure, right?
So crazy.
And she's like, oh my goodness, you guys choose a great day. I'm here. And now, like, she gives us a flight of 4 wines that we want to choose. And she's like, hey, pick one of the wines. And so, of course, she's like, I want the most expensive wine.
I didn't know.
I was no. On the left,
Time
on the
out.
left,
No.
on the left was like, hey, these
No,
are
honey.
economy wines.
No, honey, you are making this up now.
And then on the other side was premium wines.
Your version is very different.
All I know is I tried to put my hand over the premium wines, and you were like, what's that? You moved it over and saw premium. Ooh, premium, I want that one. And so we're drinking the flights of wine. I was like, hey, give me 2 economy, 2 premium. And What?
honey,
What?
she gave us a flight because she wanted to understand our taste palette. So we chose some from the regular price, and then we chose some from the a bit more expensive price.
okay.
And our palettes ended up being on opposite spectrums. And so in the 2 in the middle ones, she not in the middle, but to see if we would both like them, ended up being more expensive.
just so happened to be, right? So she actually helped us make our own batch of wine. We put like wood chips in from Hungary or some shit.
Yeah,
Wood chips from Hungary.
Yeah.
Pressed grapes, grape skins, stems, the whole thing is in a bag. You kind of just
Yeah,
push
so
it in
they
there.
extracted all the juice from the grapes. That's in one bag. And then all the, like, remnants of the grapes are in another bag. And then we had to put some sort of, like, clay in the mixture.
Mm-hmm.
And there were the wood chips.
Bisonite.
Yeah, sure,
Something like
all
that.
those nights. There's no sulfates in this wine, though. And we got to stir it, and we put all the, like, seeds and stems in a bag. And then they walked us through the whole process. And then in August, we'll get to go back and bottle it all. And we get to make our own label and stuff like that.
So definitely once we get that bottled and put our own custom label on it, we'll definitely show you what we did for our work on there. However, fellas, I will say if you are married, I just need to, if y'all want to put in the chat a time your wife was talking shit for a surprise you had planned and you couldn't tell her because you was going to be upset and real and surprised, but you was mad she was talking shit because she thought you wasn't doing something you clearly were doing. That is the airing of my grievances. I feel a lot better now that I've shared that with you all. In the meantime, I'm going to show.
Well, do I get to air a grievance?
I mean, I can go through these chats first and then you can work on getting
I'm going to just build my case while you do that.
That's fair. Ah, shit. You know, do it now so you can without
no,
thinking.
go ahead.
Damn it. All right, fine. Whatchamacallit? What did you mean, you people? No girls trip this birthday. I don't know. So I told her, based on what we did, she should have a girls trip at the house. I will gladly leave the house and make sure that everything they need is at the house, so no one has to go anywhere. All right. Then on one of the days, you guys go out on your girls trip to make your own girls trip wine. You'd be like, girls trip 2024, yes, or whatever the slogans are. Yes, queen, red wine, or whatever. So that's
actually, I think I might take you up on the offer just to have the girls trip next year here, just to relax and iron out some details.
Yeah, it's so simple. I said, why try to get an Airbnb for 10 people? All right.
And collect money from everybody, and
right,
it was a lot.
Yeah, all I know is that when you make it simple at the house, like I'm gonna go somewhere anyway.
Yeah,
everyone gets what they want. You can go there for your girls trip and for
I would honestly, to be quite honest, I'd rather spend the money on like having something like catered or a chef come in and cook, or like go to a place in town that's like a tasting thing, like. And we already have the pool and all that jazz to chill here, so
exactly. See, wine bar equals bougie. Yeah, it was pretty damn bougie. I'm not gonna lie, but I am bougie. I make no mistakes about that. I am quite bougie. All right, it's just two bougie people together. Exactly.
I'm not all that bougie. He just makes me like choose the bougie. He's like, come on, honey, you don't have to live like that anymore. And I'm like,
you don't. You really don't have to at all. It's like, why would we live like this? Why? Who would do this? I was gonna buy my wife shoes, but she ruined it, so she remains bare.
Oh my god.
You guys are hilarious. Romeo.
What is that?
I don't know.
Dancer for the girls' night out. Look, I'm gonna tell a story real quick about that. So my buddy, it was a bachelorette party. She actually wanted a stripper. And so we chose number 9 on the internet.
The fuck is number 9?
Well, because they give you like.
How do you look up to 8 and you should hate number 9?
Well, no. So they give you like people who are supposed to be the dancers, and you choose which one you want to come dance for you at your party. They did not send number 9. Okay, that was not number 9. He was old. He smelled a little funny, and then he tried to stay. Like he didn't have somewhere to go after. It was bad. But he did, however, he did kill and catch a roach for us.
One roach.
One roach. It was just one.
What would he dress up?
He actually didn't even have a theme. It was super disappointing. I don't even remember a theme.
Who ordered the stripper?
It was like the girls from Houston. It was that. It's a huge joke now. He put his money in a trash bag, honey. He didn't come prepared with like.
You guys hired a homeless person to strip for y'all.
I just paid my portion of it, okay?
9, but they ordered 15 and said, "Oh, hold on." Like what was supposed to be the Indian, the doctor, police, the lumberjack?
No, I don't remember him having a theme. Maybe it was a police. I remember he had like red Speedos, but he had like 8 pairs of undies on, so he was.
That man was homeless.
Yeah.
Okay, that was this. Yeah. Oh hell, y'all got a homeless person or a garbage man. Hobo in Dale. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not spectacular.
You brought up.
I didn't do it. I was a part of it, and I provided money to acquire this person.
Did no one read this man's reviews?
Honey, you would think people with a law degree and a teaching degree could figure that stuff out, but
no one looked at his hoe facts.
Honey,
his stripper facts.
It's like the escort sites online. Like you think you're getting the girl in the picture, and then somebody totally different shows up. Or like when you're on Tinder and you're like, oh, that girl's pretty, and then you show up to the date and it's kind of a dude. I
know, but like, did you pay the person for services?
You had to pay for the person first, and then you tip him when he's there.
How much money were y'all out for that?
I don't remember, actually. It had to be like $300 at least.
I mean, $300?
And I think he drove from San Antonio to Port Arthur, Port Aransas.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying I haven't paid for a stripper. I know what the going rate
is.
He
paid the $20 for a dance.
Exactly.
He had never paid for the champagne room or like ordered a stripper.
I mean, how would you know that? I mean, wow. I mean, your men smoke stogies, weightlift tree trunks, and eat bad guys for breakfast. 1 out of 3. One out of 3. 1 out of 3. I'll take that. No surprise. I went to a house party once and they had busted strippers twerking in a giant tent. I spent $3 whole dollars.
Oh, God.
This has gone off the rails already. Never engaged with backyard strippers. At least $5 in change from the couch. I had a stripper for a friend's bachelor party. I mean, I had no idea where this was gonna go, honey. I don't even
know how we got on the topic of strippers.
Go ahead. What was your grievance? Go ahead.
Oh man. Oh, my grievance is that I'm studying, and last weekend you were mad at me because on my break I was like, come on, let's go to Tractor Supply. I need a shovel, and I wanted to run errands.
Go ahead.
I wanted to run errands on my downtime. And you're like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just send me? And then this weekend I give you a chore list, and you're like a teenage girl with it. So like bajiggity. But doing it, like you were throwing a tantrum while doing something.
When was I throwing it?
Today.
That wasn't me.
What do you need from Home Depot? Honey, what do you need from Home Depot?
I was doing manual labor. You're like, hey, first of all, I need you to put the rest of. We have I don't know what those are called. What are those
tiles?
Things? Tiles. There were tiles in the backyard. She's like, I broke them up. Can you please put them over on the other side of the backyard?
Yeah, I did most of the work.
And then you were like, hey, I need you to dig underneath roots because there were roots out there.
I didn't know there were roots.
I know.
And there was a digging shovel in my car. You didn't get it? Oh, okay.
No, but there were also like leaves and flowers growing underneath them.
I know, but we needed to remove all those leaves and that dead stuff.
Right, but I had to pull out roots to do that. So I've been doing manual labor for 5 hours, guys. So when she sees me I was drenched in sweat, I said, honey, so you say, what do you do for Home Depot? No, it's, honey, after working tirelessly in the fields.
No. See, before he even starts, I tell him yesterday what I would like him to do, so it's not a surprise. And when we wake up, he wakes up and he's like, "So, honey, what do you need me to do?" Thinking that I'm gonna forget what I told him, and I did not. Like, I was like, it's the same as yesterday. I don't understand.
All I'm saying is it was said but not written, and I don't do well if you don't write it down.
Oh
I might forget something, so I remember what I want. So, in the fields, racist. Exactly.
I mean, he was out there. He was digging.
I was. All right. I had a shovel, a tank top. You know, all she had to do was come out with some lemonade and say, "I got your reparations in the bedroom." And I'd be like, "Yes, sir. I would love some reparations right now." Taste therapy's ridiculous. Anyway, so that kind of gets us, without a segue, to kind of what we're talking about for the episode's main discussion, right? So I will say that the discussion today is kind of like what's manly, and I will tell you how we actually kind of started having the conversation. So the way it started was it started Father's Day. Maybe the Friday or Saturday before that, I went to our local wine store that's got it, beer, liquor, wine, the whole thing, right? I go there and I'm looking for, the wife's cheese burritos because she loves those. Looking for some what is it called? El Padrino, tequila, and some wine, right? And so I've gotten everything else I need. And I'm also coming down to the beer section to get out because they usually keep my wife's chispas there, right? So I hear over here two women talking about alcohol they're going to need for a party. And so they're talking about like, hey, we've got the beer, we've got, tequila, we've got bourbon. Should we get some wine? And so the other girl with her is saying, men don't drink wine. Now, the conversation I had with them in my head went something like, what are you talking about? Like, if
I like wine.
No, it wasn't I like wine. I was like, yo, first of all, like, I'm finding out that as I get older, I'm a pearl clutcher when I hear affronts to anything decent. Like, men don't drink wine. I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck out of here, B. So I was like, in my head, I was like, "What's about? Like, you don't know, like, if he's not a real man, if he can't tell the difference between the Shiraz and a Cabernet Sauvignon, if he doesn't turn up with some Prosecco and he doesn't know the difference between that and, let's say, a red blend, like, the dude you did was a loser, right?" I was going to say these things, but then I remembered that it's the month of June. I am wearing a very bright, very, very bright Men's Express collared shirt. And
did it have, like, character?
Nah, it's the one. It's the one that I took when we went to Houston. That one back there. I have flip-up sunglasses, and I'm wearing a fanny pack across my chest. So if I say what I said, I knew the response in my head was automatically going to be something like this. Yes, bitch. You should tell them. I told all the straight guys they should drink wine. You need to come with us. We're not asking. Come with us now. Drink wine. Because, bitch, you know what you're talking about. And so I'm like, I cannot.
There's no response.
No response.
Don't engage.
I can't engage. No, because I was like, the minute I turn around, they're going to see short blue shirts, a bright color shirt, flip up shades, and a fanny pack across the chest.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
All right.
I mean, I guess I don't think you had the proper shorts on to be
I did
considered
not.
gay.
Huh? They were short.
Yeah, but so nowadays a lot of gay men are they're shorter, but they're like skinny jean shorts. Like they
but those
hug the leg.
But those are skinnier guys that wear those. You don't see bigger guys wear.
I mean, what world are you bigger?
You've seen Valentine. You seen like Valentine from Love Island. His shorts.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a bigger guy, so he doesn't wear the ones that'll hug.
Well, he can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That style, right? Then, like 3 days later, I'm doing a test for one of the vets, right? Dude is tattooed from like here to wrist, from like, yo, I'm from West Coast. You know, I've seen some shit. been in some wars. And so he's like, yo, I love going, like, we're talking guns and ammo, war, your hearing, the whole bit, like some man conversation, right? And he's like, yo, let me ask you something. I'm like, cool, shoot, what we gonna talk about? He's like, yo, I've been thinking about buying a house lately. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, what you think about? I say, hey, look, I really want to talk about this. I like a nice open concept house with a fireplace and a really nice yard because I got a pit bull. You know what I mean? But what do you think of this house? Like, we're going through it. The house is house choices, right? And he was like, well, hey, this other house over here, though, it doesn't necessarily have the open concept I'm looking for, but look at that yard, you know, and I want to know this drive, what you think about. It's like, this fireplace would be so nice and romantic if I bring a nice lady home. And I'm having this conversation like, hey, man, thank you for trusting me with this. You told me that you want an open concept house. You want a nice fireplace. Hey, you deserve that open fireplace. Say it with me. You deserve that. I deserve an open fireplace. Hey, next time I hear from you, I need to know how this goes. You're going to put a bid in the offer? I'm going to put a bid in on that. Thank you. I think your dog Charlie is really going to appreciate that nice, beautiful yard that you're going to wind up treating, right? And that nice, beautiful, open concept home. Oh, my God, it's awesome. Like, hey, you might have to do some work with the driveway. It's got a little crack in it, but hey, little sealant, we can go ahead and take care of that, man. Hey, you deserve a forever home too, sir. Thank you for your service. Plus, it's right around the street from the gun pawn shop, so you'll be good to go. Cool, done. And so I'm like, in the last 4 days, I have had the weirdest conversations about what you would consider manly.
Okay.
Now as a man from like when you were growing up. So that's why I was saying, you know, what's manly? And so I ask you, what did you think was manly when you were younger, and what do you deem manly now?
So I'll say this up front. I don't think actually my viewpoint of what is manly has changed from younger to now. Mm-hmm. I think what is being manly is being willing to protect the people that you care about, willing to step in and do some of those things that are considered the man duty or manly role around the house. Like, I don't take out the trash, or even when I did that wood pile, you came out and you're like, honey, why didn't you ask me to help? Like, I want to help with that for you. Okay. And then also being manly is being able to express your feelings and love to those you do care about. Because, I mean, we have a buddy who is a Marine and definitely kind of a dick to most people, but you know that he cares about you when he cares about you. Like, when he leaves our house, he tells us, hey guys, I love you. Right? Fair. Like, so I think all of that encompasses manliness. And I don't think that has changed. My father was like that. My father loved Purple and Barbra Streisand, but he did. Really? Yeah. Wow. But he was a plumber, and he made sure, like, he did all the things that have shaped my viewpoint of manliness.
Okay.
And lucky enough, you're kind of in the same boat, so I don't really have to worry about it a whole lot.
That's fair. You definitely married a guy who was a lot like your father, and I didn't even know it. You know, it's like, well, usually you would think when you're younger. This is funny. I'm sorry. How are you going to speak on manliness while drifting Love Island?
Love Island is full of love, okay?
It is. Love Island. You figure out like some people aren't as smart, and they put them on TV anyway. All right, people do not do research, and it shows. I think that's the main thing with Love Island. And you figure out, it's like, well, hey, sometimes things happen when you're on vacation. You didn't intend to happen. That's fine, but just know you don't necessarily have to go back to that person. And if you're going back to that person, you might want to actually do some research. All right, that's all I'm saying. While I'm dropping Love, I like to watch Trainwreck. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. All right, if you ever want to know what problems you're having in a relationship, watch a reality TV show like Love Island or 90 Day Fiance and figure out if they're really that bad. So I mean, I think for me, maybe back in the day, I thought.
Well, hold on. I know when we met, you thought that you needed to provide monetarily.
Yes.
For our relationship. And for me, that's not necessarily a manly quality that I'm expecting. I do expect you to have a job and be ambitious in your route and make the money that you can make or the potential that you can make, but I don't expect you to provide in that sense. I expect us to provide for each other.
Okay. All right, Dempsey. I tell my kids being a man is doing what needs to be done, not because you want to do it, but because you have to, because it needs to be done. Exactly. Manly was fixing things, building things, helping those around you, and doing what's right no matter what, and lifting burdens off of those around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that, I thought when I was younger, Manly Man was like an 80s action movie.
Okay.
You smoke stogies, talking grunts, huh? That means maybe. Huh? He's thinking, oh shit, we got a problem. And to a certain extent, we kind of do talking grunts, but but your woman understands your grunts better than other dudes after a while.
John A. Douglas is not wrong. Because we pulling up.
Never tell your woman your real location. Shit, I don't. Exactly.
We pulling up.
And they always will pull up. I think it was more like there are things that I thought were things you have to do. The only problem with feeling like you have to do something is you become resentful that you have to do them.
Right. And you do, that does happen with you.
I do. Yeah.
That does happen. If I do realize I fall into a pattern of asking you to do a lot without giving you a break or space, and you become the most grumpiest person in the world.
Exactly. I do. I feel grumpy if I don't have a break from anything. But as I have grown, I think the thing that I thought was, hey, I didn't think it was manly to say, hey, it's my college Trump. Like, hey, bro, love you. But I didn't know you could still do that with people that you just like, hey, I formed a friendship with this person that has nothing to do with school or the job. So the guy that married us, Justin and I, it's like, we tell each other all the time, hey, man, love you.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to make sure I say I love you today, especially once you realize that as burdens can get tougher and tougher for guys, the I'm out of here rate can go up too.
Yeah.
And so, you feel like, well, hey, why do you think that's going? Well, sometimes you don't feel like you have anyone to talk to, or you're hearing men saying, hey, dude, I love you.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure you're okay. I want to share that, if there's any burden that you need, I can take it off of you.
Right.
Now, you want to relieve the burden for others, but you want to make sure that there's someone that can help you relieve the burden yourself, which is, to me, weird about, safe spaces and stuff like that. I know people make fun of them, but it's like, what is a therapist but a safe space?
True,
For Black people, for a while, the barbershop was the safe space. You could tell any of your problems. And unless you told the person that was in the seat, your barber or whoever was there, it wasn't going to leave that barbershop because mostly it was about y'all. But
well, yeah, and also too, I would assume in a barbershop that y'all talk through it, but also in a way make light of it, so that way doesn't end so heavy. Does that make sense?
That is what.
So it doesn't end so heavy. You guys kind of razz each other, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
But that's a way to help get through something that feels very heavy and you sort of lighten it up.
Yes, that's true. And it's, I think it's when you're going through all these things, you're saying, hey, I can still say, I love you. And we'll ratchet out, it's gay. But no, thank you, man.
Yeah.
It still works, and that's what I was just having the conversation. I think, for us, I'm like, hey, it's still manly to admit what you like and what you don't like. It is not manly to say you like something just to get something out of it, even when you didn't like it at all.
Yeah. The appeasement thing, it doesn't work, right? Like, in the end, you just end up hurting yourself and then in turn hurting the relationship.
Exactly.
So it's better to be open and also realize if you can communicate it in a way. Right?
Yeah, that's the
hardest part, probably communicating it. But safe space, though, I think they took that term and are using it I don't know who they is, people in general have taken that term, different groups of people have taken that term and kind of morphed it into something that it wasn't meant to be. A safe space, meaning like I can say something to you and you're not really going to judge me or come down on me too hard. You know what I mean? Or you're going to let me say it and be like, hey, I get you're just expressing yourself, but that didn't sit well with me.
I think
I don't know what
I
I'm trying to
think-
say. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do. It's like it's like an Alan Watts thing. The more you try to make something a thing, the less it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who and what their technical safe space is. Safe space will be your best friend, or someone you can say like, "Hey, I can tell you this in complete confidentiality,"
Yeah.
or "I'm going to tell you this because I need a solution," or "I'm going to tell you this because I need to bitch about it."
Right. I just need you to listen.
kick my ass in gear.
Mm-hmm.
And Joker was right. Yeah, the watering hole is not a safe space.
And it is not, though.
Hell no.
It is not.
It's the worst place to do that
I've noticed that a lot at work. The watering hole, the water cooler top, they think it's a safe space. Honey, that is not a safe space. Keep your mouth shut.
Please do, because that shit will come back to bite you in the ass. Additionally, harassing helps thicken your skin. Whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Plus, six doesn't break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
It does help, yeah. And you got to end it with that. You're like, hey, you're gonna be okay, or it's a problem of your own making. Or hey, we're gonna work through it though. But
some people can't get past the razzing though, and I've noticed that more recently. Like, I have a buddy whose kid has large feet. It's a girl. Her daughter. She has a daughter. Her daughter has large feet. And she razzes her daughter. She's like, okay, yabba dabba, But that's in an effort because the world is not fair and they're going to say shit to her that she just needs to brush off. And nowadays, I do feel like coaching these kids, like parents don't really do that as much anymore. Or if they do, you can tell the difference between the kids that get kind of razzed versus the kids that are like, oh no, honey, don't worry about your feet. You can just tell the difference totally.
Yeah. So Syfax says today's society makes men want to fully open up and be emotional, but men strive through fighting internally and realize they are solvers of their own problems. Yeah, I think the issue.
Do you agree with that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would say when y'all ask us to open up emotionally, I'm not sure if y'all know what that would look like if we did and what we do. I think what y'all are saying is just tell me the truth, and that's it, for the most part.
Okay.
Because if dudes would open up, I don't know if you'd really like it, because it wouldn't be something that you could either solve, identify with, or fix right away. You'd have to send that person to someone else to have them talk to someone else about it. Gotcha. It would just make you aware of what's going on. But even in knowing what's going on, I'm not sure how you would take it. Because if you are used to solving your own problems by building, fixing, or even going to war, and you don't necessarily have those things.
Well, being that pillar, right?
That
pillar of the. So I actually agree with you in this regard to this, because I've seen a guy cry about what I would think is like, what the fuck, bro?
What was he crying about?
It's several instances, right? Like, but then there are things that I could see a man cry about, like dancing with his daughter on his wedding day, on the wedding day, or like a family member dying, or a man crying for that is no, like, whatever, cry it out to you. But a man crying about, I don't know, something kind of day-to-day random, I'd be like, ooh, why are you crying?
Exactly. And that's the thing, it's like if another guy cries in front of you, it's like, well, you need to figure out what this is about.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
So it's, it's like, well, hey, telling a woman what's wrong is one thing, but I don't think if you fully opened up emotionally, it would help.
Yeah.
Because if you watch a lot of reality shows now, dudes are very open and emotionally honest. And those guys usually get the brunt end of the fucking stick.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Open up being emotional is always used against us. Women say they want us to be more open with them, but when it gets used against you, when you actually get emotional, it's off-putting. Yes.
It is.
And that is facts. That is actually one.
I think honesty is a good one.
There we go. Thank you, Nos.
I think, yes, we want you to be honest at, like, hey, I'm not in a good space right now, or hey, I need a minute, like I'm gonna be fucking silent, like things like that, I think is what really a woman is looking for, instead of just the silent treatment. I'm trying to guess what's going on, but a full on like, hold me, I'm crying, like, nah,
No.
that's, I mean, fortunate or unfortunately,
It is
that's not
no.
for most women.
You might get one time to do that. You need
Yeah.
to pick that shit accordingly. All right. We got men cry at funerals and core moments that they'll remember till they die, and moments that make you remember those times. Yeah.
Yes.
You're usually only allowed, I was told 3.
Well, I don't think there's a quota, but
I mean, birth of first one, death of a friend, and then maybe when you get married.
what about death of like your parents?
I mean, it depends.
Honey,
That's
yes.
rough. It depends. Did you cry when your dad died? See?
I cried later. In the shower.
I'm talking immediate when it happens, like at the thing.
Did you hear me?
Yes, I did. I just at the.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, but I also
Definitely.
don't handle things very well. I just
No.
tend to stay busy instead of deal with them. So that's what I did instead of crying.
Shit, is that behind Freak on a Leash? Damn, that's pretty
Oh,
good. I think the lead singer does like Christian music. I think now. I think.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, he was. I don't know if I read it right, but he was like he would give his daughter, I think, like $1 for every curse word that they would sing on their lyrics, and he'd come back and the daughter would have like tons of money from the concert.
She had her college fund ready.
Yes, I can't keep doing this. Men are only allowed to cry if you have to put down a good dog. You wreck.
Oh,
your
you gonna
bosses.
cry when Molly has to go, honey.
Shit. I sold Old Yeller. That was
Old Yeller was
who makes someone watch Old Yeller at the age of 6?
Have you seen Where the Red Fern Grows?
Hell no, I'm not.
Oh
No,
God,
I'm not doing
that's a
that.
tearjerker too.
No, I'm not.
The
I can't
little
do that
dog
with
lays
you.
on the
Not
grave.
doing
Oh
that
my
at all.
God.
Nosferatu. This is why you see so many dudes stroke out or have a heart attack young, holding in pain, slowly kills you. But it's like it is, and it's not healthy. Which is why I say everyone should get some form of therapy whenever they can. It helps you at least work through the issues that you're having and figuring out, if there's a way beyond them, or if
Can
they're
I ask you something?
what.
So when you were looking for a therapist, did you come across someone you felt like was affirming your feelings, or did you choose a therapist who was like, hey, let's talk through this situation? And you did this, maybe try this next time.
I knew that I wasn't going to actively look for a woman as a therapist.
Right.
That was number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I did not want a Christian therapist.
Okay.
Because the background that I have.
Yes.
And I didn't necessarily need anyone to
throw
take
God
me.
into the mix.
I didn't, no.
Okay.
Third, I need someone that's going to cover the insurance. All right? Because that shit ain't cheap. So I actually found one to help me work through a lot of issues that I did have, and it did help. But it was a fact that I had to figure out at what point I needed to go see the therapist. Because it took a while. It was a long time coming before I had to see one.
It did, yeah.
And the issue for me was the fact that when you have other people telling you that life is going to be great when you achieve this one thing, and then you get the one thing and find out that it doesn't at all, and it makes it worse, because in spite of the one thing that you were told was going to change your entire life that you get, the results are still the same, and the job sucks.
Okay.
What are you supposed to do then? And so that's kind of how I wound up seeing a therapist.
Okay.
And
we have kind of opposite experiences, right? Like you were striving to get this job that you thought was going to make it great. And I was just like, I'm doing great at work and kind of making it through life. But at the end of the day, getting where I'm at now, it's a surprise. And I'm like, oh, everything is fine. But at the same vein, I did all that stuff in an effort to stay busy from some of the things that probably I should have gotten therapy for.
Very true. And you actually wound up did talking to one, which was hilarious when you told me you tried to explain certain aspects to your therapist.
So
That shit was funny.
So
That,
no,
I'm not gonna lie. That
to
was,
be fair, she was very nice. I
set
actually
it up.
enjoyed
Set
her
it up.
person.
Just set it up.
And she was through work, like she was on site at our headquarter office. So it's kind of like E.G.O said, like it's free, so I'm gonna take it. But I don't think our styles jive. She was a big talker, and I would give her be like a lot of. I will say this: a lot of therapists that I sit in front of, because I've tried it multiple times, they say, "Wow, you're really self-aware," which my best friend doesn't think I'm very self-aware. Or they say that well, you seem to have everything together, so how can I help you? And I don't have an answer for that. And they don't really poke or prod.
Right.
And then this one, I'd give her a scenario and she'd give me her own life experience. And I was like, but I don't care about you. I'm not here for you. And that's how I felt. So
I know, but there was the one that you were describing the family background, and your therapist was black.
Oh yeah, she was black. Mm-hmm.
No, but you were trying to explain
yours.
No, yours.
I don't refresh my memory.
You're trying to explain to her the situation about a specific upbringing I had. And She
Okay.
was trying not to ask, but she.
Oh, if you were black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So go ahead. Tell her.
I don't remember it, honey.
So-
I honestly, you're gonna have to tell it because I don't remember all the specifics.
All right, so I will say that she was trying to explain because she was like, "Well, hey, he grew up in a very, very conservative Christian family, and the parents act a certain way. They want to make sure they go to churches above everything else." And so she's telling me this, and her therapist is black, and she's making faces and trying to figure stuff up, trying to figure things out in her head. And she's like, "Is your husband?" She's like, "Yeah, my husband's black." She's like, "Oh, okay."
She was so afraid to ask me. I'm like,
It was
oh.
pretty damn funny. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, see. Oh man.
He's
All right,
black in
jerk
all
your
the right
face.
places.
Yeah, I win. All right, yo, Joker's Voice, let us know how that's gonna come out, man. Put it in the link, and we'll make sure we retweet it as well. Yeah, I got lucky with the ones that I chose because I was looking for a specific therapist, and I knew what I didn't want.
Well, I think a lot of people don't know that. You have to know what you want, and you have to shop around. It is like dating.
Yes, and that shit ain't cheap. In fact, so many people need therapists nowadays for non-transgression when we grew up with stick and stones. Yeah, I mean, it you can say that, but the self-deletion rate for dudes is pretty high, and it would necessitate at least for some of them trying to talk that out, especially if you don't think there's anyone else that you could talk to. Sticks and stones, yeah, and words never hurt. Yeah, words can hurt though.
Words hurt.
And
the deletion rate for dudes is so high because dudes choose a definitive way to do it.
That's fair.
Which is typically a gun. At least those are the stats I learned through the suicide helpline.
Oh yeah, she actually volunteered on that line.
So
yeah. So I mean that's I will say you can say sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words would never hurt me. Except
but they stick with you.
But it depends on who said the words.
Ooh. Okay.
And if the words come from someone you really can't get rid of or leave, or you're tied to by family, you're kind of stuck with that. And if the person is in your life and the words are still there, even though the person may not be, then it's hard to actually separate those, if it makes sense.
No, that makes sense, because I think it rings true for women as well. It just, I mean, like Syfax says, men follow through. Women are like, please hold me.
Jesus. Yeah. I will say that I think it's a Freudian thing that it's food, shelter, and a healthy sexual relationship. Usually a lot of the relationships, if you have those three, you can really, a lot of the problems that you have will kind of take care of themselves. I think it's the people have pretty decent resources to food and shelter. A lot of us have. Is the third one.
What's the third one again?
The healthy sexual relationship.
Oh.
Because it's like, well, hey, you can get this, you can get sex, but is it from the person you want?
Yeah,
or are
sex
you getting
is a
any?
tough thing. I think with the instant gratification that our society does have in general, like sex can be worked on, and there are things you absolutely can work through. But you have to be patient and open and willing enough to do that. Granted, full disclosure, you know there are some things I cannot work through, but I know that, and when I am confronted with that, I said no.
Exactly. Yes, the sex, exactly. And so I think a lot of the issues you see from the two sides that argue the most are having issues in the sexual relationship department. Either I got someone, but it's not the one that I wanted, or I'm not getting any, and it sucks.
The not getting any is rough. So when I was married previously, some of the people in the military that were married and we talked to, right? They'd be like, yeah, we haven't had sex for 9 months. And I was like,
You know what?
how have you not, like, honest to God, murdered your spouse? Because
I don't know.
I don't get it. That's tough. That's a tough one.
I get both positions. I don't care for the way society is leaning towards coddling compared to how we just barrel through it, and it either makes or breaks you. Yeah,
I think there's a balance.
There is. It's just, you'd have.
It's hard finding that balance.
The weird thing is the people that are shouting on both ends of the spectrum are the ones that are suffering the most. The rest of us are trying to figure it out. The problem is you'd have to talk to everyone to figure out who is where.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Honestly, I thought, and I was wondering if you guys were ever on your Female Perspective podcast ever going to talk about, like, what did you deem as like a real woman when you were young as opposed to now? Not just in the whole, I saw the Daily Wires, what is a woman? I'm commenting on it. Like, no, like,
right.
What did you think was a woman when you were younger as opposed to like now?
Right. And I feel like maybe like the first episode we talked about like what is womanly, but I think it would be a good idea to talk about like how our perspective has changed and things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people can't handle the pressure. That is an unfortunate fact of life. Nobody makes it out of life. That's fair. And then we figured out
but
when
I
we
think
have
we're
kids,
enabling people not to deal with the pressure too at this point. Like, that's why I say there's a good balance. I think you and I are both very middle of the road on a lot of things. Not everything, but on a lot of things. And I think it's finding the balance. Nowadays, I feel like people are saying, oh, don't worry, you don't need to deal with that pressure. Just do something else. Yeah. And I don't think that's the case. That's not how life works. You have to find the proper coping skills to get through things.
That's fair. Lovett Scott, marriage should be seen as a lifelong commitment, not a transaction. One day, we're going to have the marriage transaction discussion.
We are, because I was just about to say, Mama Boxel.
Yes, I do.
And although she was married for 30 plus years, probably, God, I think it was 30, probably a little more. She also says, like, y'all should, at 5 years, discuss, do you want to continue this? Kind of thing. It should be a contract.
Fair. That might be another episode.
Yeah.
It's the marriage contract. If y'all are up for that, just let us know. We'll do that one. That's pretty much what we've got in terms of the what is manly chat. I'm just saying, if you have time on you all's podcast, y'all really should talk about, what was the woman to you guys then as now, but not in the old.
Not what is a woman.
No, was like, hey,
not as in the transgender ideology.
No, I'm just saying, for you, like, all of y'all that are on that are married. To the man that y'all want to marry.
Yes, and I'm sure we all have a different style in our marriage.
Some of you all have or may want children. It's like, well, hey, who did I model what a woman was for me then as opposed to now? If it's changed, if it hasn't, I mean, it's a female perspective, so I'd love to hear that.
Gotcha.
There's different types and styles of women. There's the diplomat woman, which would be like, what was her name? God, she was in the 80s and 90s. She's like prime minister, I think, of
Condoleezza
England.
Rice? No.
No, not that one.
I'm just naming
No.
someone that I know. I don't really actually know anybody you're talking about.
All I'm like, there's a difference between like you saying you model being a woman after, let's say, Marilyn Monroe or
versus
Hillary Clinton,
I
Michelle
see a
Obama,
popular figure.
or Giselle Bunchkin, or Madonna. Like how, like you don't have to answer it now. I'm just saying, like I would love to hear that from you all, because as guys, it's like who did you say was manly?
Well, I will make one comment on this. So it's interesting. After my dad passed and before I actually got married,
Excuse me.
we had this friend who was an older woman who actually read our cards, whether you believe that or not.
Wait, she did what?
She read cards, but
tarot stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was also Christian, and she believed that
yes, Margaret Thatcher. I'm sorry, AC. Yes, Margaret Thatcher. That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah, she believed that, when you cook food, you make your husband a plate and things like those things. And I kind of clung to that. I always said, if I like someone enough to make them a plate and put them as a consideration first, they're probably a winner. And I could see in all my relationships when I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'm like, oh, this relationship's over.
Understand. So, thank you. Yeah. So if y'all ever get a chance to talk about that, I'd gladly like to hear the female perspective on what's womanly to y'all.
Yeah.
So basically, we're just gonna end this off with, I just bookmarked some things that I wanted to get Shiro's perspective on, and I'm about to play them for y'all right now. All right.
Oh God.
This first one.
Oh, okay. What's happening?
Calm your ass down. That's what you need to happen first.
Is this The View?
Yes. So this is actually from 2019, right?
Oh, okay.
And so
is he on the Diamond Tour?
He's on the what?
You don't know what that is.
I'm not gonna ask.
It's a male review show.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So anyway, so Stephen Curry. You've heard Steph Curry, right? Yes. His wife, is Chrissy, right?
Chrissy.
No, his wife is shit. What's his wife's name?
It doesn't. I don't know who his wife is, so it doesn't matter.
Steph Curry's wife. This is from about 4 years ago, right?
Okay.
And so everyone was saying that you got the guy when you guys were in high school.
Yeah.
So he's only known you. And so y'all have been together. Y'all got 4 kids and everything.
Okay.
You got a diamond in the rough.
Okay.
Future Hall of Famer. And they were saying, well, you do things to embarrass him.
Okay.
And so they're pointing to this, saying that this is how you embarrass him. And so I'm about to show you this right here.
Okay.
So this is The View, right?
Yeah. Girl Chat. It's not The View.
Or whichever one it is, right? And so she's with these ladies, and now I guess it's wine o'clock. And out this man comes.
Okay.
So I just want to get your reaction to what she does. Okay. You'll know who this is when you see it.
Okay.
So again,
he good looking. We gonna see him. I have eyes.
Okay.
Jesus.
All I'm saying, it's not the eyes. Just hold on.
Okay. Is she pushing her ring on more?
No, she's trying to take the ring off.
Oh, I thought she was pushing it on more, to be like, I'm married.
Hold on.
Yeah, she's not taking it off.
I thought she was taking it off.
I thought she was pushing it on.
Hold on.
Am I wrong? I didn't see what she said. I
thought she was taking that ring off.
Was she taking the ring off?
Yeah, she's trying to taking it off.
Nah, boo. Mm-mm.
All I'm saying,
you know my rule.
Gohan.
Yeah,
Aisha Curry. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, Aisha. Yeah. So okay, I think we have talked about this before, whether it was on the Women's Perspective podcast or with you somewhere. The 3 6s, right?
Yes.
And at the end of the day, she telling somebody that he ain't got one of the 6, and it's very evident which one of the 6 he ain't got if she trying to take that ring off. That's embarrassing.
Or tell everyone what are the 3 6s that may not know.
What, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches.
Dealing one of these 6 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's in the NBA. He's more than 6, right? feet tall. He definitely makes more than 6 figures. So what else is she looking at? I mean, like I said, I have eyes. I can be like, oh, he look good. But why am I trying to take my ring off? For what? For who? A man serving me drinks? No, thank you.
And this is why I said C4C. She already said it was a joke, but Steph ain't laughing. Because I think 1.5 years to 2 years after this, his dad got divorced from it. His mom left his dad.
Yeah.
And she was
It's
fucked.
not a joke. Like, that on national TV in front of millions, it's not a joke.
And I was like, you found a guy that no one wanted. Now everyone wants.
Mhm.
And your joke is to pull the ring off. And I'm like, the ring has to be over 20K.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the joke would have been like, hey, I'm married, but I'm going to watch y'all do this.
Yeah,
like,
say not proud taking women point at it. Yes.
Yeah, I'd be like, ooh, but let me look at you. You know, it wouldn't be like I'm going to take this off so you think I'm single. Nah, I don't think that's funny at all, actually.
Okay, that's what I want to check. Because, like, Kenny, I love you. If you ever try to do that shit on me on live
I would
camera.
never do that.
Okay,
I would look, I'd be like, ooh, I throw some dollars at you, but you better stay over there. You know what I mean? Like,
the man is worth 160 million. Even he can't keep his wife. What do you? Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly. I was like,
but again, I know we say the 3 6s, but we talked about sex as one of the like big things. Just because you got 6 don't mean that you're sexually compatible with something or that you don't need to work at it. You know what I mean? So
that is fair. That is fair. The other one, I will say, yeah, if you are torn between me and someone else, choose them. I'm out. Exactly.
For real.
I will make that option. I make that very easy for you. I think it's the other one I got. Let me see if I can bring this one up and see what you think about this one.
If you make 100K, how much do you want your man to make?
If I'm currently making 100K, I would assume that I would meet someone in the same bracket, so he'd probably make 100K, the same or more. One, we do live in modern society. Women do work, men do work. I'm not going to sit home and not do anything. Hypergamy is also still very much a thing. So you're obviously going to date someone in the same bracket or someone that makes more. It's between the two.
Would you be open to dating a guy if he was making like 55K?
It wouldn't make sense for me to date down, personally, just because if a guy wants to lead a relationship, how is he leading it if he's making less?
So it's all about money when it comes on to the ability to lead?
For a man to lead in general, the money helps you lead in a lot of ways, responsibilities and goals in a relationship. If it's just money, you're not making any money. What are you doing that's leading as a man? How can you treat me good if you're not making enough money to feel like a man?
Isn't that subjective though?
Why do you say that?
A man could be totally comfortable making 35K at Walmart, wherever the shit's.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's fine, but also date a girl who works at Walmart who makes the same amount or less. Why would you date someone whose taste is like caviar? That's going to ruin your ego as a man.
All right. So, all right, now that I've got that out, thoughts on that one, my love? It was going a lot of places. That's why I'm asking you.
Thoughts. I think she has a valid point because as I continued to grow my career, there was a point where I was sort of stuck in the middle, dating folks who were still bartending and living a different lifestyle than me, who, when I'd be like, hey, I want to travel or do this, they couldn't quite afford it.
Okay.
And then I would foot the bill, and then I would feel resentful because I felt like they weren't doing the additional things to make up for it, whatever that is. Okay. And so I think it was, and you showed me actually, it was a lot easier. We started off out in the same place. You're a doctor. I was doing what I was doing. We moved together in a sense. And the money that you make sure that if you want to do something, you're saving for it. So you have that responsibility level that it doesn't matter what I make or you make, you're still able to help contribute to the things that we do or don't do.
That's fair. Okay.
So I think she's very, what's the word, based? Is that the thing?
I guess.
Like,
I just said
right. I don't know what the thing is.
Based as it is just like, well, it's the side effect of a modern society and like independent wealth that you can have.
Yeah.
He said she makes 100K. Okay, but she's from what I would even, she didn't say she had anybody. So I'm like, if I'm assuming she's...
I thought that we were talking about a hypothetical. We don't really know. If
No,
she
we
makes
don't. But it's like,
100K
if you're
or
making
not,
100K, well then, I was told the higher up a woman goes, you're going to want the same and
Or above.
more, right?
That's why the girls who are making 35 want somebody who's making 6 figures, right?
Right.
And they shouldn't technically get that or want that for the most part.
But I will say that if you think you can get that, why wouldn't you go for it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
But it's like, well, the higher up you go, you're looking for the guy that's making that and more. That guy's usually taken.
Yes, and we talked about this a couple times ago, I think. Also, too, like, you have to realize things sort of tilt when you're making a certain amount of money. So if you want a guy if you want a good guy and maybe he only makes 65 a year, but he can provide you some of those other things like emotional stability, safety, stuff that makes up that gap. And I think people fail to realize that.
I do. I think it's more of you could be seen as a lottery system when it could be like diamond in the rough system. You know, like, hey, you're working, you're going to school for this big thing, and then once you are out and you start working, then the money will get there.
Right. But you know how hard it was to date when you were going to doctorate school,
well, yeah,
right?
Well, that was as a guy, but it's the opposite for women. So when I was trying to get into medical school and it didn't work out, and then while I'm going to doctorate school, the one thing that I did see was that all the women that were in the same programs as I am, ring, and all the guys that they were either engaged to or married were already out of school. Like, oh, he's in business, or he's an accountant. He's been an accountant for 4 or 5 years. We met in college, or by the time that I met him, I was still a student. He was already working.
Yeah.
When I was in school,
doesn't really work in opposite.
No, it doesn't. The only pair of people I could date when I was a student were students. Like, that was it. Like, you can't date anyone that you could barely date anyone that was going to be working at McDonald's, a vitamin shop, or just were places where I did work. Didn't matter. They were actually living life and making money as opposed to dating me off potential.
Yeah.
And so I would say that when you are a woman and you're going to be going to a school that's going to make you 6 figures, and you were in a relationship and it doesn't work out, and now you're working making 6 figures, well, then you're going to be looking for a guy that's making the same, if not more. But that guy who's been making 6 figures, he gets scooped up like that. And
he does. And you have a very valid point. It is hard to date a man with potential, because, I mean, if we just even go back to the first date rules, right? A man pays for the first date is the standard or generally accepted principle in dating, right? If you don't have the money to pay for the first date or continue to go on dates with your person, like, it's hard to see the potential that will come and wait for it, because nothing's guaranteed. Because then the assumption too is that you're not going to lock me down. You're going to wait until you've gotten to your potential. And then here I am. I've been with you this whole time. And you realize there are 10 other girls waiting because now you've reached your potential. And they're probably pretty banging. And maybe I gained a few pounds in our relationship, right? Like, all those things kind of factor into that, I guess.
I will say that but you can't make that decision based off of the scarcity, lack, and fear. It's something you'd want to have a discussion with, but I understand why you would probably have those trepidations. It's just the fact that when it's the other way around, if she's making 100K, I think y'all were saying there's Angela Knight. If Angela Knight's making 100K, why would she date a guy at Walmart?
Yeah, why would she?
You wouldn't want to do that.
That would be very odd. I mean, it could happen. Like, there are exceptions to the rule, right? He could be doing all the other things that fill the gap, and she's okay with that. But at the end of the day, most women are going to choose a person at their level or above.
Exactly.
And a part of that, too, is also if you want to have a family, a woman could be making 100K, and if you're making above her, because you have asked me this question before, what would it take for you to stay home?
Yeah,
and me work?
I know what the number is.
Yeah.
So
And part of that is having a family. Can we maintain the lifestyle that we enjoy? I'm not saying you have to be a millionaire, but can we maintain these things and have a family?
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Last thing we're gonna end with is we saw a movie and saw a preview for a movie, right? One of them is definitely likely to happen. The other ain't shit gonna happen on this one. All right. I'm gonna tell you the one that's likely to happen. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this movie called Pie Wacket.
We watch a lot of like horror.
We love scary horror
films.
Exactly. No, you might want to check this one out. Boo squints your eyes at some more. So we watched this movie called Pie Wacket, right? It's about this girl who's like heavy into the occult and everything. Her dad just died. She's got to move to a new location. She's kind of separated from her friends, right? And so she and her mom get into this big argument. And her mom says something that was like, damn,
that was
harsh.
shitty.
We ain't gonna say what she said.
Oh, really?
No, because if they want to watch Pie Wacket, go ahead and watch it.
Okay, honey. You are so funny.
I was saying it's on Prime Video. It's free. It's only an hour and a half. And so it was low budget but not cheap.
Yeah, it was. It really wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. I think it was decent because it's teenagers and a mom. That's it.
Yeah.
So I will say this girl gets so upset and so incensed with her mom, she goes to the woods and summons the devil to kill her mom. I'm like, that's some shit that I can understand happening. So, I hate you. I'm gonna go.
I wish you were dead.
I'm gonna summon Pie Wacket. She's reading this long ass incantation to get her mom up out the paint, and I'm like, this is hilarious, but it's very true because I can see women going at each other for this reason. It's like, you wish I was dead. I wish you were dead too. I'm gonna go summon the devil, and then just going about doing this occult practice. And I was like, you know what? We saw the movie, it was actually pretty good. And I'm like, you know what? I can actually see some shit happening like that in real life. All right. However, there is another show. There is a show that's coming out. I don't even know if it's out now. It's called The Power. I think that's also on Prime or being at least promoted by Prime.
I think it's Prime, yeah.
All right. Are you saying Pie Wacket? No, it's like, I'll spell it out.
It's like
P-Y-E.
Oh.
I think this is how you spell it.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm putting it in the chat now.
P-E-Y. Pie Wacket.
Nah, let me tell you. Hold on. P-Y-E. Double checking this here now.
How come I don't know how to spell misogynist?
Pie Wacket. Yeah, it's a P-Y-E-W-A-C-K-E-T. It's on Prime. But it sounds like you're saying Pie Wacket, like the way that you have it on there. How to make So, there was a show called Love It. You watched it? It's good. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Actually, like a Native American one. I think so. They didn't really give us like the etymology of the word or even what demon deity it was.
Yeah, there was like we knew it was evil, but no other connotation about what this thing was.
Right. They just said
black magic.
Yeah, that was it. It was
magic.
It was black magic, and that was really all I told you. Like, I actually would watch if they had a sequel or prequel. I'd watch it. It was actually pretty good. All right, so I contrast that with a show that's coming out called The Power, right? And so I'm gonna be easy with this one and kind of lazy. So I look it up on Wikipedia. I'm like, what is this? The Power, right? This show.
Don't take Wikipedia as a valid source?
Yes and no. It's like, well, if the first thing I have is Wikipedia on there, and it's under in IMDb, so IMDb's here and Wikipedia is here. Okay, I'm gonna click that. I read both. I read both, but this premise is the kind of the same in both. The premise is that out of nowhere, without explanation, and with no reasoning, random teenage girls get the power of lightning, right? And with this newfound power,
it's just lightning.
It's just lightning. That's it. That was right. It's just lightning, right? However, they can actually awaken the power in older women. And now that young teenage girls and older women have said power, the world is forever changed. Let me tell you some shit that is never fucking happening. It's not going to change. Because the first time that Esterline and Sky get into an issue, bitch, you think you
Which smited her with lightning, that's for shit.
right?
I mean, honestly, come at me, bro. Everybody would just be striking each other with lightning.
Exactly, it's a Raiden fest. Like, all I'm saying,
So angry.
dudes
I'm
wouldn't have to
excited
do
to
shit.
that.
We're like, yo, did you hear about Esterline? Yeah, Esterline and Amy going at it, bro. We're gonna watch this shit. We're gonna put up a cage. It's a Thunderdome right now.
Yeah, honestly, you couldn't give. So they all had the same power.
It just says like they all get like the power of like lightning, like, and that's all that they do. I don't know what powers they awaken in older women, but like all the teenage girls get lightning, and I'm like,
That's dangerous.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you talk shit to me, I'm dousing your ass in water. What's now?
Okay, one, that seems
What?
silly. I don't think that would work. Two, these girls just gonna be upset that somebody called them, chubby and strike somebody down with lightning.
Right. It does look, and when you read like the trailer doesn't really tell you that until you read what it's about. And you're like, this sounds incredibly dumb. There is no way that I could ever see this happening where the world has changed. Like, yeah, all the young girls got wiped out because the all women's.
Yeah, they were like,
these heifers really think they doing some shit.
Right.
Like,
no, boo.
Exactly.
But then all the older women would turn on each other because I got to tell you, working in corporate, women between the age of 30 and 50, they don't have anything else to do. Okay?
Exactly.
So they murder each other.
Right. There's a reason.
Literally like talk shit about each other, beat each other down. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It's craziness. Actually, I should say 40 to 60.
Okay. I will say that
30s, you still have kids.
Okay, I'll have you write that out. I will say that I never saw Orange is the New Black. However, I knew the women that served the food were ruthless as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all older,
They
right?
were all older, yes. They were like, oh, really? You think you know some shit? Okay.
If women got... Yeah. It would take years. Like, whereas dudes would fight out immediately, women, it would simmer and simmer and simmer and simmer for years until one day be like, what happened to Haley? That bitch got electrocuted.
I think it would happen immediately with women. I think they would be so overrun with power that they would.
They would what?
Someone would challenge, another woman would challenge them, and they'd be like, "Oh no."
That's exactly. That's all I'm saying was that we were watching. We were like, "Yeah, one of these would have definitely happened. The other ain't happening. Not at all. No. But it's hell.
If they had different powers,
really
I could probably get down with it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is the weird thing. Like, I don't know where you all get electrical powers. All I'm saying is it would take one trad chick. She'd be like, "What do you do with your powers?" Like, "Oh, I just make sure we don't have to pay light bill. My man takes care of everything for me." They get rid of her first. They would be like, "Bro, what happens to the free power?" She told everybody, now she got eliminated. Like
what the hell? I gotta find me another one who will do it.
Bro, we was all coming to the house today. You had the game on. You had all the power. We had a spotlight. Damn, man. That's all I'm saying.
The DJ? You had the
We did. It was like, it would be the second coming of like Jesus turning water into wine. Like, I can get the party going, guys. It could be awesome. That's all I'm saying.
Too much.
So hold on. So when is the child conception stream for Shiro Negro? It's later.
Later. After I'm 40.
Anyway, guys, I think that's all I've got for today. You have anything, my love? No, I guess that's all you got for today.
No, I didn't even know Twitter blew up. I've been really trying to study, and I'm a terrible studier, so I'm trying to do all the things. I try to do other things, and E.G.O shuts me down. He's like, "Oh, this is like you're trying to get out of studying." And I'm like,
stop. Like,
what are you talking about?
You should go out and do stuff. Like, why? Don't you have studying to do? What do you mean? If you don't study for a test that you wanted to take, exactly. All I'm saying is, good Lord, you have work to do.
I mean, there's so many other things we could be doing.
You decided you wanted to take a test. You wanted to finish in a year. Then I told her,
well,
guys,
you wouldn't let me become a doctor of mystical sciences, so I
Swear
feel
to
like I
God.
have to have some kind of letters.
I'm telling you right now, if you try that, at all or ever, we would have major problems.
What would be an acceptable doctorate for me to get?
I mean, you could probably get one in accounting if you wanted to. Exactly.
All I would do with that is teach, right?
Yeah.
I missed my window to be in the FBI, and now apparently that's a bad move, so.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you study weight. Thank you. I'd appreciate that, guys. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what we've got today. Once we have her birthday party, we'll let y'all know how that went. And as far as the wine, when the wine gets here.
Oh, you should do a raffle for the online things.
That's what we'll do. Once the wine gets to us, we're going to wind up at some point splitting the channel so that Ordinary Games will be its own self-sustained channel. And to probably celebrate that, we'll have to raffle off the wine that we actually made, bottled, and corked for you guys for our wine. But until next time.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
All right, good Lord there. Until next time, guys, for the asthmatic Shiro and myself, what?
I've been such a good student. I'm feeling very buzzed right now.
Wow, y'all. Okay, we need to go. We need to go, y'all. Anyway, check y'all later. We are out.
Thanks for joining.